Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another Spiritualistic Pick a Card reading. Thank you so much for being here today as we take a look at what your past lives are trying to teach you. So please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine to create a clear and open channel. And as you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with reading auras, group number 2 in the center with change of perspective, and group number 3 on the right with rooted in gratitude. As always, the timestamps to your readings are listed below in the description box, and in there you'll also be able to find the link to my 21-day meditation retreat, which just came out. So that is 21 guided meditations with me. You can take them in consecutive order. Once you purchase the retreat, you have access to all of the meditations for the rest of your life or until the internet evolves into something different. So with that being the case, you can find that there as well. If you like a personal with me, that's going to be in the description box. It's on my Etsy store at Spiritualistik. I have a whole spiritual store there filled with tarot and oracle decks, journals, books I've published. I wrap crystals, I make candles. I've got a lot of fun merch for your zodiac sign, for spiritualistic stuff. So you can find all of that on my Etsy store, along with personal tarot readings, channeling sessions, astrology readings, astrocartography, Reiki sessions. All of that kind of stuff is going to be on my Etsy. Feel free to check out my website, spiritualistik.com. I've got a blog there with tons of info on it. You can also meditate with me on there. All of my meditations are posted on a little page there, so you can just chill and vibe out for a little bit. And you can also find more exclusive content on my Patreon, here on YouTube, on my Inner Circle channel, on the membership page, as well as on TikTok. If you follow me over there, there's also a subscribe option. So there are public and private videos on TikTok that you can access for the entry feed there. So, with all of that being said, follow me on social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And with all of that being said, thank you again for being here. I love you. I'm grateful for you. And I'll see you over at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, Group 1. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at what your past lives are trying to teach you. And you selected the first group with the Reading Auras card. Now, this energy here comes with an inherent power. Now, of course, reading auras has something to do with, of course, perhaps clairvoyance, looking at auras, reading them, interpreting energy. We could have some clairsentience, some empathy, some spiritual gifts going on in here, which are really beautiful. But what your past lives are trying to teach you, strictly off this first energy, is actually that you have a little bit of a blind spot in this life, and it's not a bad thing, okay? It actually is pertaining to how inherently powerful you are. I'm getting that a lot of you are truly a spiritual powerhouse, and that your past lives are trying to teach you this. So group number 1, if you are doing past life regressions, you can find them on my YouTube channel here. They are within the meditation retreat. If you want to experience that, it's in the description box. But if you were to experience your past, present, future, parallel lifetimes, things like that, other places in time space that you as a soul feel resonant with, you might find most, if not all of these, are strong powerhouse energies. Now, it might be something that is perhaps a very strong warrior, a very spiritually powerful being. It could be something from a dimension that is considered to you or others more powerful or spiritual than this one. It might be things such as royalty. It could be things such as, well, power. And I'm really not getting power in like a 48 laws of power kind of way. I'm getting kind of power in the spiritual essence kind of way. Like not just reading auras, but the spiritual gifts. Connecting with the causal realm, connecting with the causation of energies. A little more deep, like a little deeper than manifestation. Kind of like spiritual, energetic, like you might have been known across the land for a gift or a connection that you had, or your ability to be a leader or something like this. Your past lives are trying to teach you in this lifetime that you have this very strong inherent power. And also, there is something here about not second guessing what it is that you know. Now, as we know, anyone that is wise or is highly intelligent, they know that there's a lot that they don't know, right? But the other side of that same coin is not second guessing that which you do know. So there is kind of that delicate dance there. And right now, you might be in a space where you understand there is so much that you don't know. You understand that in this lifetime, you are learning, you are growing, you are evolving. Perhaps some of you feel like you are healing, whatever that journey is. It is valid, it is relevant, it is yours. If that's what you resonate with and that's the path that you're on, that is valid for simply the reason that you're experiencing it. However, what your past lives are trying to teach you here is perhaps the other side of that coin, where you are aware that there's so much that you don't know. And so your past lives are trying to teach you, yes, but remember, there's so much that you do know. You might be in the, let's say, the co-creative aspect of spirituality or just experience or consciousness, where you are in the perspective where, okay, it's half me and my will and half the universe and things larger than me working in my favor, right? So what your past lives are trying to teach you is that, well, you might be in this incarnation very, let's say, top down, right? Very crown down, very well. It is the universe's will and I'll follow my intuition and all of these beautiful, wonderful things. The other side of that coin is you have the power to create your reality. You can understand that you also have that power to create shifts and changes and do things like this as well. So in the spiritual sense, there's more of a powerhouse there as well. And also it might look like giving yourself more credit, seeing yourself through a little bit of a higher lens. Higher will be subjective, and the way that comes across for each of you will be a little different. It might be seeing yourself in a higher, I know some people are into spiritual hierarchies or something. Okay, that's not my flavor of spirituality, but I know that it's out there. So if that resonates with you, it can be that, like spiritual inheritance and things like that. If for you, this resonates as something like being a spiritual powerhouse, like you have a lot more gifts than you thought that you did. Your consciousness is a lot more expanded than you think that it is. Your ability to affect the things around you or within you or manifest are a lot stronger than you thought that they are. Your ability to do whatever it is that you want in this life, whether it is to start a business or become a politician or drop off the face of the earth and go off grid and live in an eco village, your inherent power, in whichever way you choose to apply it and whichever realm it applies in for you, is a lot stronger than you think. Also, your past lives are teaching you that you know so much more than you're giving yourself credit for, and you know that too. Now, there's something here about the reason why you're not giving yourself so much credit, because maybe when you are tapped in, say that you are meditating, you're like exploring that little, you're standing on your tiptoes, like tippy top back corner of your consciousness, right? You're like, this is the highest vibration I have access to, like, you know, the point that you're trying to expand from, that like tippy top place there. Maybe when you ground in your body, you're like, yeah, but like I have access to that, but maybe that's not 100% of my being, because remember, we're all collections of frequencies, we're all collections of particles, we're all collections of vibrations. So there's a little bit of this I almost want to say disempowerment. That's not showing up as a negative trait in your life, but it is what your past lives are trying to teach you. They're really trying to show you that I'm hearing a soul like you doesn't come around twice. And that is objectively true for every single one listening to this. And so it's the power behind that statement. So your past lives, it seems that they are trying to share with you that you've got a deeper connection to maybe space, to spirituality, to spiritual gifts, to consciousness than you have been giving yourself credit for. And they really want to remind you this. And again, there's this emphasis on know that you know what you know. Okay? You are extremely smart. And I'm also hearing super communicator. I believe that's a book. I haven't personally read it, but there is, I'm hearing like you are also a super communicator. Okay? You are also phenomenal. Like I'm hearing, you have access to the true interpretation of something or the true manifestation of something that you see misconstrued all of the time. Astrology is a wonderful example of this. Out of 2 million astrologers, probably 4 of them will actually be able to actually read, interpret, and understand astrology. So it's something like this. Now, there is also this inherent spiritual connection here, where your past lives want to show you that you have this divine protection. You are not just a divine protector. You are not just a being of divine protection either. It's kind of, again, 2 sides of that same coin. You are a lot more divinely protected than you think, and also you are a divine protector of others. And so, whichever way that you feel like you're leaning towards a little bit, most likely the grounded sense, most likely being a divine protector of others, or like you need to call in that divine protection for yourself. There's also this reminder that you are something that is precious to the universe, as we all are. Your past lives want you to basically understand how special you are as a soul, to understand your inherent power, and understand that the reason that you are connected to the lives that you feel like you're connected to, past, present, future, parallel, all of those things, maybe it's a different time period, maybe it's a different dimension, maybe it's whatever it is. It has nothing to do with a hierarchical system at the end of the day, but everything to do with your self-empowerment. So this means that there are some areas here where you might be working on your solar plexus. I'm getting some of you might have a little bit of a pain or a bruise or something in your back, like along your vertebrae on your spine, like kind of where the solar plexus is, okay? Or some of you might be having like tummy issues, right? Solar plexus area. There is something here where your past lives want to help you rebuild your solar plexus. There is I'm hearing like an inherent ego death or downfall or something from where you, let's say, were, for lack of a better term, okay, in other lifetimes versus where you are now. Still seeking and finding, maybe it's your place in the world. Maybe it's the empowerment that goes along with your soul's energy, the energy of all of your past lives connected together, and then how that actually is manifest as you in this human lifetime, the way that you are going to kind of embody that power and what that looks like and what actions you're taking from that place. It's almost like there's this shyness about this power. Maybe it's because of the way that you're raised. Maybe it's because of a community that you're around or were raised in. Perhaps it is because of preconceived notions or your job or the fact that there are or are not eyes on you or whatever it is. It's kind of giving this ground up energy. And so there is this re-empowering that your past lives are trying to teach you. And this is over a long period of time as well. This isn't just what you're learning right now from them. This is what all of them are trying to teach you in general to embody over this life for a prolonged period of time. Meaning that if you've stepped in this power before, you're still on that journey and learning to embody it actually fully. And even if you feel like you are on top of it, you feel like you are connected, you know what's going on, you're confident, you know that you know what you know. Love that phrase, right? You know that you are divinely protected. You know that you've got this spiritual powerhouse within you. There is also this energy that's kind of insinuating a bit that even if you are fully in that energy, standing in it, there is still more to come. And so for you, that might look like a journey of creating some space. It might look like creating extra capacity for you. It might look like opening your mind to possibilities you haven't considered yet pertaining to that expansion. Something like this. And for others of you, there's this energy of, oh yeah, like perhaps I forgot a bit. I kind of remember and then I forget and then I remember a little more and then I forget a little less, but then I remember some more, right? So there's a little bit of this perhaps ebb and flow like energy going on here, like a wave goes in and out to the shore and back to the ocean. So there's a little bit of this going on too. A little bit of this push-pull. So whichever energy agrees with you, or if it's something that's an outlier of those as well, because this is a general reading for everybody, there is this acknowledgement that your inherent power, I'm hearing like aura points. It's like, group one, your past lives are trying to teach you that you genuinely can shine bright like the sun no matter who you incarnate as, what it is that you're up to, where it is that you are, what it is that you choose to do. But these are also certain factors that in becoming could hypothetically create also a process of not unbecoming, but forgetting perhaps. Or maybe questioning yourself, maybe self-doubt, maybe a cycle of, am I really worthy? Or is that really what I want to do? Or am I powerful enough? Am I strong enough? Am I confident enough, right? So this is what your past lives are trying to teach you. So let's take a look at the tarot here, and we are going to get a little more in-depth. Let's see, group number one, what are their past lives trying to teach them? Okay, you have a lot of support. I'm hearing the phrase soul family. Okay, you have a lot of support that has yet to come in. You've really only breached the surface of it. Your past lives are trying to teach you that you are supported by, like, I'm getting all beings everywhere. I'm hearing Loka Samasta Sukino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. Okay? There's this energy here that is indicating that your past lives are trying to show you that something that you've had a difficulty with, maybe it's pertaining to, it could be, I'm getting accountability, it can be humanitarianism, it can be like others taking accountability, receiving an apology, it can be children, it can be just relationships with people in general, it can be a community setting, something like this. It's kind of giving, yes, something that's been difficult and you've needed to learn how to grow through it in this lifetime. It is actually because whatever you are embodying when you are fully in your power as your soul, say that you are in the full energy of your soul as the focus, and the human version of you right now, like in this lifetime, not as the focus, it's present, but it's like filed to the back, and the soul is filed to the front rather than the other way around in your consciousness, okay? So if you're in this place, it's a full sense of empowerment that has full support, full community, full the sense of family, the sense of team building, the sense of maybe you call the shots, the sense as well of if you say something, then it's done. And it's always what is best for everyone and involved. It's definitely the sense of humanitarianism, the sense of love, but also sometimes love can be tough love. Now, not in a way that is toxic or unhealthy, but sometimes what it is that you need is to take your medicine, right? Maybe not you, but you might want to be, say, the medicine that someone needs in this life. And so you might have, in some way, incarnated into a person that is maybe, let's say, a tough pill to swallow. Now, I'm not saying that you're not a wonderful, beautiful person. I'm actually getting that you are. Sometimes when you are very kind, people might not trust you because you're kind. Sometimes, if you are very nice, someone might look at you and think that you're naive and try to take advantage of you. Sometimes if you have this inherent power and you're not using it in a negative way, others might try to manipulate you, or they might put you down, or they might try to disempower you in whatever way possible. And so, when you flip it to the soul in the front and the human in the back, for lack of a better term, this energy embodying all of your past, present, future, parallel lifetimes, and just the essence of your soul in general, it is an energy where across the board, I'm getting like light and dark, up and down, left and right, like all energies resonate with you, love you, support you, are your friend, are your family. It's almost this energy of like outside of duality, this energy of being connected to source. It can also be this energy of like neutrality, this energy of divine balance, this energy of even perhaps divine justice or something like this. I'm also being shown wings, so that can resonate with some of you if you do spiritual work with your shoulder blades pertaining to wings. If you resonate with working with angels or fae or anything like this, it doesn't have to be as well. But your past lives are trying to teach you here that still that energy permeates through this lifetime as well. It might be as though, however, if you are not wearing it completely, or you're not embodying it completely, or you are embodying a lot of it, but there's still room to grow and expand into even more of it, you're going to find that, say someone takes something very valuable to a consignment store. And say that person doesn't know how valuable what they have really is, but the person at the consignment store does, okay? Now there is the opportunity for the person in the consignment store to tell you what it is that you have, what it's really worth, and give you perhaps advice not to sell it, to keep it as an asset, or the correct price that is in alignment with the actual value or cost of the item. However, if you don't know what you have, or you kind of know what you have, but you're not a master in that realm necessarily cognizantly, like you don't know specifically what year it was from, or how many of them were made, or whatever the item might be, it would be easier in this situation for the consignment store to say, oh, well, I know what you have, but you don't. And perhaps they would be able to sleep at night if they maybe sell you short a little bit and you never found out. And so we see that is kind of the journey in some way that is, let's say, perpendicular to the human life that you have walked in this current incarnation. And so, as you remember this empowerment, you find that even that the soul of that being is your friend, whether they remembered or forgot. And they weren't doing that for you. It was that they were doing that because you didn't know or because you had forgotten. And that is not to circle around. It's like, again, something about this lack of accountability on others' parts when you are here to help them, right? When someone's complaining, they have an issue, and you're saying, here's the medicine, you try to feed it to them, and it's bitter, it doesn't taste good. So they spit it out and they yell at you. Why would you do that to me? I'm hurt and this tastes bad, right? It's kind of giving that a little bit. So, what your past lives are actually trying to show you is that when you step into this power even more, the audacity around you actually goes down. And that the love continues to kind of get turned up a notch a bit, because that is what you present 100% of the time to 100% of those around you. You see that someone is ready, willing, and able to stab you in the back, but you will still give them money when they get stuck in a foreign country without a visa, without a passport. Because regardless of whether you're looking at a soul perspective, whether you're looking at a past life of yours or the collection of all your past lives, or who you are today in this incarnation, that is who you are. That is who you are in your soul, that is who you are in your bones, and that is non-negotiable. That is simply a non-moving character trait of yours, and that's not a bad thing at all. You are the kind of soul, deep in your bones, deep in your essence, where if you have the real version of something and someone else has the fake version of something, and they turn around and point fingers at you so that they can just see how far they can run with their fake thing, you will not still put them down. You will understand that, well, perhaps what they're doing is incorrect, perhaps it's out of integrity, but for whatever reason, it doesn't bother you, because you understand that yours is unshakable, yours is unmoving, yours doesn't need external validation. However, that doesn't mean that you deserve to be treated like that. And even if someone can get others to perceive you in a particular way, or gang up against you, or gossip, or make things up, or something like this, it doesn't change who you are. But then we're going back to this energy of all are your friend, all support you, light, dark, inside, outside, kind of one, kind of the other, a little bit of both, neutral, outside of duality, they're all your friend. And so when you are empowered, the audacity goes down. And again, this is not your responsibility when someone else acts up. However, you might also find that throughout the course of this lifetime for you, you continue to grow and expand and evolve into your power when others do you dirty. That might be a common theme for you. You are kind, you get taken advantage of. You tell the truth, someone else lies and says it louder. But they didn't say it with their chest. And that might be exactly what causes you to say, well, you know what? That situation doesn't matter, but I deserve better. And then you grow. It might cause you to say, you know what? It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. I know who I am. I know what I've got. And I'm going to make my foundation stronger. I'm going to be more confident in that. I'm going to show up more strongly. I know who I am. I know what I do. I know what I have to offer. And there's no shadow of a doubt in my mind, because there's no shadow of a doubt whether or not what you have to offer is the real deal. And this is why the energy that you give off is oftentimes misconstrued, because it reflects back to others the fallacies in their own narrative, or the fallacies in their own foundation. And it might not always be malicious, right? Everyone doesn't have malicious intent. Most people don't. We're all a combination of different particles of beings that we just perceive in a dualistic sense. And there might be some good, there might be some bad, there might be some high highs and some low lows, and that's humanity in essence. So what your past lives are trying to teach you here is that you have access to the secrets of the universe, or at the very least, understanding of yourself, your true self. And here, what is created from this, or what is meant to be created from this, is something that is beautiful for you and for everyone involved. And the more that you step into your power, the more inevitably disempowering it is for those who are empowered with a false sense of, let's say, a house of cards, and you represent a strong gust of wind. Now, the sun doesn't apologize for shining. The wind doesn't apologize for blowing. And the wind doesn't have malicious intent. The sun is not trying to burn your skin. In fact, it is humanity who has evolved in order to become burnt by the sun. It is not the sun's fault for burning us. We have adjusted the atmosphere and put holes in the ozone layer. We have stayed inside so much. We have eaten chemicals, worn chemicals, put chemicals on our body. It is not the sun's fault. The sun did not turn on us one day. It is not the wind's fault for blowing. It always has blown. It always will blow. Some days it's strong. Other days it's weaker. We can always track where the wind's going to go. If we were in touch with the weather, which some of us here are, you would be able to tell when there will be a wind and how strong on average it would be. And the wind does not apologize if it knocks down a house of cards that has convinced others that it's a castle. And your past life wants to remind you that the wind is a friend of all. It is a divine, beautiful source of nature with a spirit, with a purpose, just as every single soul is. Less nuanced, perhaps, than an ant walking down the street. Less nuanced, perhaps, than a koala sleeping in a tree. Nonetheless, still as important and powerful and unique, it is simply a bit more obvious. However, easier to be demonized. The sun does not apologize for shining. The sun has always been nothing but our friend. The sun provides life for all as we know it. The sun is literally the center of our world in a sense. However, as much as we revolve around the sun, there are still people on this planet that think the world revolves around them. And again, each journey is valid. Each experience is valid. But your past lives are really trying to bring this empowerment to you. That you are not an ant. You are, and that is not to diminish ants either. In my personal belief, I think that all beings ever are equal. And that's me. That doesn't have to be you. And it might be, and that's cool. Regardless, you are a divine force like the wind. The wind doesn't question its confidence. However, if it were to incarnate into your life, hypothetically, it might have or walk through kind of the ugly duckling story. A beautiful swan, different from everything else, wondering why. Again, it's not a hierarchical thing. It's not a hierarchical thing at all. But it is an empowerment of what it is to know who you are and what you have to offer and what it is you're meant to do and become in this world, in this body, in this life. And apart from the physical nuance, I meant to walk this path. I meant to create this thing. I meant to do this action, right? Outside of that, the spiritual powerhouse, that powerhouse energy, all of those spiritual gifts you have access to, all of those truths that you see, that you know, all of those things that you are like the ancient key holder of, all of those energies that you genuinely have, the fountain of youth, the pure well of authenticity, whatever it is that you resonate with within you, it will bring change to a system and knock it right back down to its square one. And it can be a macrocosm or a microcosm. It can be your family, your ancestral line. It can be a huge community. It can be a friend group. It can be an energetic thing. It can be a subconscious thing. But nonetheless, your past lives are trying to teach you that you are a powerhouse, that the sun doesn't apologize for shining, and you shouldn't either. There will be many lights in this world. We literally have light pollution. There are light bulbs as far as the eye can see. But there's only one sun that provides us life in our solar system. And that is what your past lives are trying to teach you throughout the course of this life. And that is why you're being encouraged to empower yourself soul first, life of this life second. But at the same time, when it's soul first, it is not outside of yourself. And that is where, when the confidence, the empowerment, the knowledge, the willpower comes from, This is, in essence, where you're being encouraged to walk you first, spirit second. And this is the calibration that your past lives are helping you through in order to help empower you beyond the system you were raised in, beyond the system that is around you, beyond a system that is meant to empower some and disempower others, against a system that has chosen to forget some things and create memories that are not based in accuracy, big or small. And apart from all of this, you are a spiritual powerhouse, and you know it in your bones, you know it in your soul, you've seen it. Do not be afraid to show it to others, because when you do, there will only be friends and never a foe. This is why you are in some way meant to be sharing this like it is normal, or be in the public eye, or something like this. You're meant to be seen for what it is that you are. Because if only one person knows about it, they might try to undercut your cost. If you try to trade it in for consignment, you might get scammed. If you share it with a very small amount of people, they can come up with a narrative that doesn't serve you, that helps them. But when it is known, when it is public, when it is visible to all involved, I'm being shown like Elphaba in Wicked, like she's green. I can see it, you can see it, she's objectively green. No one's trying to debate that. Is it weird? Perhaps. Is it uncomfortable for some? Sure. Is it opportunity for others? Perhaps. But when it is public, when it is out in the open, then all are your friend and none are your foe. And that is what you're learning from your past lives. That is probably the resolution of that energy is probably similar to most of your past life experiences that you have remembered. And so, for whatever reason, you have chosen a journey of becoming. But it's not becoming this or becoming that or doing this or wanting to be something that you're not. Rather, it is simply becoming more and more of yourself. And that's what your past lives are trying to teach you. Group number 1, and I do want to let you know, I see this card here. You've got a happy ending. Okay? You've got beautiful, wonderful things on their way for you that are fair, that are right, that are just. All things, as far as you're concerned, will be fair, just in this world. You will have a happy ending. Okay? That's something they want to let you know. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. If you'd like to meditate with me, you can find that in the link in the description box. If you'd like a personalized reading with me, so it's a little more personalized to you and a little less general, you can book a one-on-one with me. It's going to be on Etsy at Spiritualistik, also linked in the description box. As always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. If you'd like more exclusive content, I've got a page here on YouTube, I've got one on Patreon, and I've got one on TikTok. They're 3 totally separate avenues, so there are 3 different vibes you can connect with. If you want to do all of them or 1 or 2 of them, that's totally welcomed. If you'd like to join my book club, it is donation-based, $1 barrier to entry. You can do that as well. That's going to be on my Patreon as well. So with that being said, I love you. I'm grateful for you. Feel free to check out another reading or another pile in this reading, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Namaste. Hi there, Group 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we are taking a look at what your past lives are trying to teach you, and you selected the second group with the Change of Perspective card. Group number 2, your past lives right now are working with you in your self-perception. It's kind of giving the energy where you were very close to the situation, and so it's difficult for you to see this. Now I'm also getting, don't worry, group number 2, these are all positive traits that are coming through. I'm getting this energy of grace, this energy of beauty, this energy of synchronicity with the universe, that because you embody and is so normal and natural to you, you might not necessarily recognize the sheer quantity of the strength of this energy. Group number 2, your past lives at this point in time are trying to teach you that everywhere that you go, there is a reason for it. Now, this is not, of course, something you are unaware of, but the change of perspective here comes from the fact that, well, of course there's a reason for it, but that reason might not be for you. It might be to change someone else's perspective. Now, if that is the energy that you are usually in and aware of, it's the opposite. That you are in situations not always just to help others, but actually for you, to change your own perspective. And of course, this goes both ways. But whichever energy you lean towards, you will find that your past lives would like for you to be seen in the opposite. There seems to be this awareness of, I am not this body, I am not this mind. You seeing this world as the illusion that it is. And your past lives would like to teach you, in a sense, the embodiment of self, the embodiment of soul, the embodiment of consciousness that fits seamlessly into this world and into this life. You can be aware you are not your body and you are not your mind. You can have a level of consciousness that breaks through the illusion of the Maya or the world in front of you without becoming dissociated from it, without feeling detached to it. You can be fully in it, yet seeing the oneness of all things. The more spiritual you are is not something that is ungrounded. The more spiritual you are, the more grounded you are, but the more grounded you are doesn't mean the more spiritual you are, so on and so forth. This is why when some are uncomfortable with spiritual awakenings, the most common advice will be to just ground. Tune yourself out of it. Come back into your body really, really strongly. But that might not always be the best or most applicable advice. To be fully grounded does not mean to be fully spiritual. But to be fully spiritual does open you up into heightened groundedness. This is what your past lives are trying to teach you at this point in time. Now, of course, across time and space, we are all one. This energy has come through, so taking a look at we are all, have been, and will be all that has and ever will exist. It's happening simultaneously. So here we'll expand the definition here to past, present, future, parallel lifetimes pertaining to the frequencies that you feel a strong resonance with, as intended by your soul, the universe as a whole, and your unique experience and journey as an individual with an individual perception of consciousness with connection to the all. So with that being said, we're going to get into the tarot and we will see what these past lives of yours, past, present, future, parallel lives of yours are at this point in time trying to teach you. And some of you might even find that this can also manifest in beings that are around you as well, whether they are spiritual, they are animals or plants or children or even your friends or family. When we're looking at other lifetimes of yours in this sense, I'm definitely getting the highly conscious sense here for you, group number 2, that to you, that might be a little bit more of a, let's call it a fluid translation, a little bit more of a loose term, okay? And for those of you who are understanding and resonating with the past life energy, and that's what's coming through for you as is intended by the reading, stick with that. So we do have the Lovers. Okay. Your past lives are showing you that you have committed, your definition of you have committed to continuing to make the evolved choice. Let's say be the bigger person, grow and evolve, take accountability, learn, grow, be kind, things like this. Time and time and time again. That you follow your dreams, you close out cycles or patterns that you become aware of, that you are worthy of receiving all beautiful good things in this world. And with that, also that things are not only sometimes not as they seem, but that they are usually exactly the opposite of what they seem to be. They're almost usually always the exact opposite of whatever the common perception is. And there is a reason for this, which is also part of what it is that your past or parallel lives are trying to teach you at this point in time. The delicate dance between the duality of this world, in a sense where they are actually inside out of the truth, to the point where you can understand the nuance here. In this sense, you are also learning about your true nature of abundance in, for lack of better words, both principles. Abundance in the material, also abundance in the sense of the void. Meaning that there is nothing but abundance. Abundance of what? Whether it's internally or externally, overtly or covertly. This is what they are teaching you. However, I'm hearing the song Small Worlds by Mac Miller, and you actually have the world here as well with the devil. Like the perception of, oh, the world is so big. Well, that would be almost the devilish perspective here, because the world is very small. Or, oh, the world is so small, that's almost also a devilish perspective, depending on your own, of course, perspective. This is what we're speaking about here, spherical perspectives, to the point where the world is so small, again, till it ain't. Okay, the world is so small, but not in comparison to you. Also, alternatively, the world is so huge. Well, actually, it's very small. What if you zoom out and you're in space? I'm specifically receiving this aspect. It's the ending of the song Small Worlds. Oh, I've been a fool, but it's cool. That's what human beings do. Keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. Guess there was a time where my mind was consumed, but the sun coming out now, clouds start to move. Don't tell me nothing but the truth. I'm tired, I don't gotta spare a second. Win or lose, I don't keep count, nobody's checking. So a part of what your past lives are trying to teach you right now has a lot to do with your integration of your embodiment of self, your expression of self, your perspective in your daily life. We have number 6 here with the Lovers. Now, of course, as we know here, the Lovers in tarot specifically is ruled by Gemini, and number 6, which has to do with, of course, the 6th house in astrology. This speaks about, well, of course, Mercury, your expression of self pertaining to your foundation of life, pertaining to your health, your daily routine, the way that you navigate. Moving over to number 21 here for the World. Of course, this is 21-3, but 21 speaks about individuality, believe it or not. 21 speaks about finding your individuality. It is zooming back into the oneness of it all. It is that final step before releasing into the oneness of it all. And it is also that final step before zeroing into the individuality of it all. Of course, we've got the 1, the 2 coming into the 3, which is, of course, the creative principle of the number 3. As well. So we do have this common theme that's coming in as well. And we even specifically here have a 6 with the devil card as well, because we've got a 15-6. So this speaks about some sort of change of self, change of perspective. With the number 5 here, speaking about some sort of 90-degree angle energy that your past lives are trying to help you turn down, or help you help others turn down. Again, we're looking at the spherical perspective intentionally in your reading group number 2. So what your past lives are trying to teach you has a lot to do with the fact that the world is so small until it's not. The world is so big until it's not. I'm looking at even the right is giving until it's not. The left is receiving until it's not, right? The way that things are so commonly perceived in the daily existence, it's you seeing beyond that, you closing that out and recognizing that it is the void that gives the appearance of the abundance. But it is that abundance in and of itself that is the illusion that is actually the void. It is almost giving that what we perceive to be tangible in this lifetime is actually the least tangible of it all. And the things that are intangible to our experience and perspective in this life are actually the most tangible of them all. So it's a little bit of this, call it a paradox or superposition or spherical perception, if you will. But with the Hierophant here, this speaks about finding some sort of tradition. I'm hearing that song, I'll find a way, the one from Drake and Josh, interestingly enough. If you open up your eyes and see what's inside. Okay, and a lot of music here too. It can have a lot to do with music, with frequencies, with, I'm also getting like the sound, okay, because the frequency of the creative principle, it's a sound, if you will, like Trevor Hall says, a sound within a sound within a sound. It's a song within a song within a song. It all goes back to like the quiet whispering of the universe, where you can look at everything, but when you see it as Om, you can hear everything, but when you hear it as Om, So this is kind of what your past lives are teaching you. This has a lot to do with expansion of consciousness, cosmic consciousness, and your journey there, your experience of it. Again, it is the energy that we are sharing here. So of course the translations will manifest differently for each person because a few things. This is a general reading. Your journey or path is individual. We all experience things different ways. And there are going to be a few different ideologies or belief systems that meet together in this reading. So as acknowledged before, this is a space of energy reading. So the words that are in my database, because of my experience and my perception, I'm using to translate the energy that we are picking up here using these cards and the energy of assistance from the lives that are around you. Another thing your past lives are trying to teach you here with the Devil and the World card, this has a lot to do with detachment to attachment, or detachment from attachments. Okay, that's the common one that we think about a lot in the spiritual community, especially in manifestation techniques and such, so on and so forth. A lot of you are familiar with detachment. However, it is also taking a look at attachment to detachment, having an attachment to detachment, where you try to stay so detached from things that it can turn into what many people in pop culture spirituality now like to over the past 2 years and probably the next year and a half, and not before that and won't be after that either, but speak about as spiritual bypassing. For, of course, lack of a better, more concise and accurate term. So there seems to be this energy here where, taking a look at the thick of it, there is something here that is difficult to stomach about detachment. Or there's an energy here that is difficult to stomach pertaining attachment. Again, spherical perspectives here. Your past lives are, in a sense, helping you to create things that are beautiful without attaching yourself to them. This might be the kind of energy where in this lifetime you find yourself having a million different lives within this one life. This is also the kind of energy where you might be the kind of person who has several lifetimes of experiences just in this one lifetime. You have something and it's more like you, rather than having one cohesive season of a life, it's almost like a million different shows all together, a million different movies, not in the same universe, instead of like one show with 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons that are very cohesive. So to allow yourself to create something beautiful and leave it behind for the good of others. And at the same time, not just being detached from these things that you are creating, these things that embody the creative principle, but also to allow yourself to connect with the causal energy of it all, which also alludes to the energy of not being too attached to detachment. Because if there is something to detach from in the first place, that is still existing in this tangible and elusive realm of Maya, or this tangible physical realm. A lot of people connect with the 5D, and they will have this nuance where the energies get connected and twisted in this sense, where there's a codependency between the tangible and the 5D, if you will, the spiritual. Behind this, the supporting energy to the manifest, the supporting energy to the creative principle, is what your past lives are trying to connect you, or should I say reconnect you with. Because it is the abundance, the tangible abundance of the void, and the void within the so-called tangible abundance, with the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Coins here. Receiving abundance in both ways. And notice that the picture on the Queen of Coins here, it is zoomed in, it's like a zoomed in portrait, but we have the same exact image actually on the Queen of Cups here, but it looks like this is a picture of this portrait, but you have more perspective because you're seeing it from the outside. So when you connect to things from the causal, when you connect to things from the emotional space or from the intuitive space, when you connect to things from the subtle realms, if you will, you have more perspective than you do if you are just taking a snapshot of what's physically going on. For example, if you're pulling tarot cards to try to figure out a physical situation in life, and then you see which spiritual principles pop up. Versus if you are pulling energies that occur when you introspect beyond the tangible, then you will naturally see how these are causation, where there are correlation and where there is causation, and how these certain things manifest. When you're able to zoom out and you affect things from the internally. Versus looking up and needing to swim through all of the nuances and looking through this kaleidoscopic vision. Now, your past lives are trying to teach you not that this exists, but it's almost this reminder of where your center is as a soul, where your consciousness was, let's say, instead of before or after, let's say around this lifetime, encompassing, moving through this lifetime of yours. And the way that, however it is that you have chosen to incarnate in this life, in your body right now, in this current incarnation, is in some way you honoring some sort of maybe tradition, or some people will call it a soul contract. Some people will call it some sort of legality or some sort of promise that would have been made to help grow, shift, change, evolve, rebirth yourself or the world or a community, understanding that from a spiritual perspective, these are all synonyms. Also understanding that the tangible manifestation of such will be nuanced and also seemingly separated. So let's hone in here to whichever, let's say, past life of yours, past, present, future, parallel, you understand, which parallel lifetime of yours, you have connected with the most recently, meaning closest to your current spot in linear time space, whether it's past or future. Let's just look at the closest proximal alternative lifetime to you and see what that message is for you here that's going on right now. Nine of Cups. So zooming in a bit, this has a lot to do with your personal fulfillment and finding this sense of your enjoyment moving towards the future and allowing yourself to give yourself action towards following your heart, but also embodiment towards energies that you were denied in this lifetime, or perhaps others. I'm getting like self-reciprocal energy. So for example, if you were denied, easy example off the top of my head, okay, external validation. Okay, this would be about you self-validating and moving forward in that sense. Say that you were told that your future had to look a particular way. This could be something where you've broken that, you now no longer think that your world has to go that way, but you're also recognizing that there is a reason why the universe conspired in order to give you that type of message, but also you're moving forward in a more authentic, self-loving, and honoring way. With this lover's card, it brings this, yes, but still everything is intentional and serving you energy to the nuance, okay? You do have a lot more options than you'd think, but also there are others taking responsibility for some of the things that you would like to do in a positive sense, okay? We are all interconnected. You don't have to do everything that you want to do, but you absolutely can do everything that you want to do. But some of the things that you want to do, say there are not enough hours in a day or enough years in a life, there are others that are out here doing these things, that are out here helping. Okay, so a part of this has to do with the enlightenment, the awakening, the healing, the understanding, the consciousness of some sort of tangible construct. It is not all on your shoulders. You have so much help. Okay, you fulfilling your dreams, you doing what it is that you want, you exploring your options in this life. It is not all for you to do by yourself. The universe is giving you a helping hand, and there are loved ones along the way that will support you in getting there as well. This also has a lot to do with exploring what it is that you feel, supported in the way that you feel you want support, being supported in the things that you feel you want to do, not what others are advising you to do, and they'll support you with that only. Following your own heart, following your own intuition, and discovering what it is that you want, and then kind of yawning that open and going, oh yes, that aligns, of course, perfectly with my soul. Now, over here, this energy of the Five of Cups with the Devil, this speaks about some sort of energies that might be circling you or around you. I'm being shown like a little shark, like circling. You know how they like circle around things? Sometimes sharks are really cute. They're always smiling and they get a bad rap, but like they just have really goofy smiles and they don't really ever harm people. Like, anyway. So, if you are being shown, I said don't really ever, not that they have never. Okay, I didn't mean like a superlative like that, but here, this energy speaks about how there's this energy swirling around you that might be a little bit attached to having a problem. And this might be something that you are attempting to navigate, attempting to help someone else with, or just attempting for you to kind of be around in a way that honors you and honors someone else, but without you indulging that energy. It's like every time there's a positive energy, like that's not allowed. It has to be, yeah, but there was a problem and it was this. This kind of energy where, how are you? Well, I would be better. I'm just tired and like life is, and it's okay because honestly, we all have nuance in life, right? We've got human thoughts and emotions and experiences, and it's normal. Every day is not perfect, wonderful rainbows, but it is about intention. It is about intention and your intention and the impact and connecting these things together. And so this is around you because this is actually something your past lives are trying to show you does not resonate with you, does not align with you. Sometimes the universe shows you what you are. Sometimes it shows you what you're not. The universe mirrors you, and sometimes it's a funhouse mirror, and sometimes it's not mirroring you at all because you're meant to be an individual in that situation. So take it as it resonates. But once more, it's drawing back awareness to that that outro from that song that I was picking up on as well. I've been a fool, but it's cool. That's what human beings do. Keep your eyes to the sky, never glued to your shoes. This is what your past lives are trying to teach you. I know it's coming through as like Mac Miller lyrics, so maybe listen to Small Worlds. But guess there was a time when my mind was consumed. But the sun's coming out now. I have the sun. The clouds start to move. Don't tell me nothing but the truth. The sun as well. I'm tired. I ain't got a spare second. Here's kind of this whiny energy, right? Win or lose, I don't keep count. Nobody's checking. It's all relative. All relative. And so it seems as though your past lives are trying to maybe not teach you, but rather assist you in processing certain energies, because it seems as though you have an observer standpoint to it. Not in a way where you are attached to detachment, although this is coming up as maybe something you might explore. But it is being an observer, being a witness, but also allowing yourself to be fully inundated with the experience of life in the present moment, and seeing how your consciousness versus what it is that you want as an individual in your body, what feels good to your emotions, what feels good to your body, what feels good to your soul, how these things can manifest and embody throughout your daily life, and also how those things are in alignment with your soul, and maybe kind of sifting out and shedding some of that difference there, if there is any, which I'm not really feeling too much of. There might be a little nuance, there might be a little fluff, but I'm not getting, distortions or energetic blockages. Also, energy cannot be blocked. That is not physiologically possible. However, we do have this awareness as well, what freedom means to you, and enacting is in your everyday life, the present to the future perspective, your individuality and how you wish to follow your heart, knowing that you are guided and supported in following your highest excitement, for again, lack of a better term. With this, understanding as well that things are almost usually always 100% the opposite, exactly the stark opposite of what it is that they are commonly accepted to be, and how this opens up nuances, choices, and doors and pathways for you that might not be overt. With that, learning how to receive the abundance that comes along with stepping through these paths, and understanding that there is a whole new world that is available for you, internally, externally, and in between. Acknowledging as well the ability to change your mind at any given moment and not staying too attached to any decision, because you are, back to the energy principles here. Energy is always moving and changing and shifting. It cannot be stagnant, therefore it cannot be blocked. It can be potential energy, or it can be kinetic energy. If it is potential energy, it has not yet taken a shape, therefore it is not in your solar plexus chakra or your sacral chakra or your root chakra, because it has not manifested yet as anything. It is still potential energy. It has the potential of becoming energy. So what your past lives, parallel lives, are teaching you at this point in time has to do with the fact that you can change or shift or move things at your will from inside out. As you know, a lot of manifestation. Do you want that money? Will you change your mindset? Right? But this isn't so tangible. This is intentionally far behind that. very, very far behind that. Without getting attached to the idea of detachment, because that still anchors you into one of the 7 chakras that are experienced in this physical realm, even though it's the crown. And so with this coming through, it looks at how too much of a good thing can be a bad thing, not enough of a good thing can be a bad thing, a little bit of exploration of moderation, as well as moderation of expression of self, moderation of perhaps inner child, moderation around inner child, to inner child, or just the idea of children in general. Also too much visibility, moderation and visibility as well. Visibility versus privacy. Really rounding out energies. And I'm also getting this energy as well that the your experiential chakras are the throat chakra up. Because you have earth, water, fire, air, space, divine, and causal. So, your other lifetimes are teaching you at this point in time a spherical perspective, a change in perspective. I'm also being shown keylontics, like a black hole kind of vibe. So a change of perspective. Because it might look like a vacuum, but twist it and see it from a different angle, and it might be light. So this is you having the experience of the space that observes the vacuum of darkness and the expulsion of light, if you will. So, with the attachment to detachment, also don't try to stick your hand in a vacuum just to pull it out and try to make it light. It's extra work. Also, trust that all things are moving and changing into a form that they're not currently in at all moments of time. So, this is what your other lives are trying to teach you right now, Group 2. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity for you. I do have one-on-ones open currently. You can find them in the description box. They're on my Etsy at Spiritualistik. I've got a whole spiritual store there if you're interested in checking it out. If you would like to meditate with me, I've got a virtual 21-day meditation retreat. It's on Patreon. You can find the link down there in the box as well. That is go at your own pace, 21 guided meditations. They're meant to be taken in order, but you have access to them forever. So if you really like some of them or you feel drawn to some of them to support you in your journey, in any way you have access to them forever. If you would like exclusive content, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on my YouTube channel, please, because it means the world to me. But I do have extra content here. I have a membership channel page here on this channel. I also have one on Patreon, which you can find in the description box. I also have one on TikTok as well. I post collectives, and I also have a private collectives page on there. I go live up there sometimes as well. So follow me on all socials as well as on Instagram. With that being said, I love you and I'm grateful for you. I also want to mention I've got a book club if you're interested. That is fully donation-based, $1 barrier to entry, so it's $1 book club. And it's mostly about the community and having thought-provoking conversations and just like-minded exploration of different topics and whatnot. So I love you. I'm grateful for you. Have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. Feel free to check out another pile or another reading, and I'll see you here next time. Namaste. Hi there, Group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we are taking a look at what your past lives are trying to teach you right now, and you selected the third group with the Rooted in Gratitude card. Connecting with this energy here, Group 3, the first thing that I'm picking up on is that your heart chakra is expanding right now. I'm also getting that your past lives want to show you what it is that you're really truly worth. I'm getting like a cost versus value situation. Now there's something here where you might be used to a particular type of it can be luxury, it could be status, it could be peace, it could be happiness, just over the course of your lifetimes, like plural. And your past lives are trying to teach you right now that there is so much in this world to be grateful for. I'm also getting that in this lifetime, you might have been in a situation where maybe there wasn't too much that would spark spark gratitude in your life. Maybe at some point you needed to learn how to find and create gratitude in difficult situations. However, you might be more used to it as a soul to be, let's say, more aware of the abundance that is around, because there's always abundance, but it can be abundance of lack, it can be abundance of sadness, it can be abundance of money, it can be abundance of peace and joy. So, with this rooted in gratitude energy, it seems as though your past lives are trying to teach you how to settle into your place, how to settle into this energy of when there are things around you to be grateful for. It doesn't mean that you need to look over your shoulder and look for where the other shoe is going to drop. Now, it seems to be some sort of situation where you're used to finding gratitude, let's say, where it might be less visible, right? So say that you're having a really sad, rainy day, metaphorically rainy day, right? And you might be still practicing gratitude, rooted in gratitude. It's beautiful. We have this spiritual evolution here. We have this spiritual abundance. We also have this physical abundance that's coming through. Your past lives are teaching you how to walk in both. So you might have remembered a few past lives of yours, group number 3, where some might be very much the energy of the renunciant, with this beautiful ascended master spiritual energy. And you also might remember lifetimes of just lavish, lush, luxurious materiality in your lifetime, where that is maybe the focus. It's more about enjoying the abundance in the material, and lifetimes that are more about enjoying the abundance in the spiritual. Now, here, you are in this energy where your past lives are teaching you right now how to anchor in both, through, of course, the energy of gratitude and your mastery that you have already acquired in both realms and the space in between. So this is exploring a little bit more the place, like the space in between the spiritual and the material. So taking a look at maybe your mindset and your emotions, or perhaps like the space between the breath. Connecting energies. Your spiritual journey might look a lot like you being a bridge between different energies, a bridge between channels. Your material abundance, it might come from you taking different ideas and putting them together, bridging different worlds that you might not necessarily see put together organically, bridging different ideas, things like this. So, with this, you are rooted in gratitude, of course, but there's also something that you are here to teach if you so choose. There is a lot here that you can teach, and it does have a lot to do with going back to that source of gratitude. But ultimately, this is about you and your individuality, and how you have questioned all that is in front of you and all that is within in order for you to find where the truth lies, where the abundance is, where the gratitude is. Where you continue to question until you are able to sift back all of the later layers and you find gratitude, you find abundance, you find peace, you find that mastery energy. You peel back perhaps the limiting beliefs or the mindsets. You peel back the ideas, you peel back the nuances, you peel back what is being said around you. You peel back all of those layers and you're able to find the solution. Oh, it is possible. Not only is it possible, but it's probable, and these are the actions to take. Oh, it is true. They just needed to sift through these other energies. And so we have this mastery of this and this anchoring in gratitude that you have experienced in your past lives in the material realm. And we also have this energy here that you have sifted through to find this mastery rooted in gratitude in the spiritual realms. And so in this lifetime, you would have been likely really expansive in one very easily. And the other one maybe was very present, and maybe there was a little bit of a hiccup, or you needed to kind of bootstrap that gratitude energy and kind of put yourself back on that, let's say, masterful throne, if you will, of that energy. And now it's about bridging those two together for a full embodiment of these energies. So this is what I'm getting out the gate for your past lives, what they're trying to teach you right now. So we're going to get into the tarot. So let's see for group number 3. What are your past lives trying to teach you? Okay, group number 3. Ooh. Okay, 6 of Swords. This speaks about finding solid ground, and we also have the rooted in gratitude energy here. So it's definitely this finding solid ground through gratitude. So this is talking a lot about not just determination or not throwing in the towel, right? Because those can be two sides of the same coin in a bit, right? Where you're like, no, I'm going to make it happen, to the point where it's stubbornness. Sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not, depends on the situation and the individual. Same thing with like surrendering, right? Sometimes it's giving up, sometimes surrendering is what we are called to do. And then again, it depends on the situation, depends on the individual. But we have this grounded energy in gratitude. You're landing in gratitude. And this is where you're noticing that all of these different pieces start to accumulate and come together, which is really beautiful. And it's beginning this new paradigm for you. So whereas you are used to being very, very blessed in one area of life and maybe struggling a little bit in the other, although you're aware that you have the energy and you're aware that you're working towards it, it's almost like a formality to process, to walk through particular steps in order to rematerialize or remember or re-inherit what it is that's already normal and natural for you in the other sense. So we have this new beginning that's coming through, and it speaks about the combination, the accumulation of these energies as they're rooted in gratitude together. So your past lives are trying to teach you that you are now in an era of life, you're now in a chapter of life where this abundance has been reset for you. And also that they're acknowledging in some way that something was either like taken away from you or hesitated or put on pause for a little while. But this is something that your soul is used to, something that you might have even experienced in this lifetime, and then maybe it glitched a little bit and you needed to learn how to, rather than inheriting it, like come into it on your own, right? Say that your whole family is very psychic, very spiritual, and maybe that led you down a path of not practicing that until you needed to find it in yourself, right? Perhaps you were raised when you were young, perhaps your family was very materially abundant, and then perhaps maybe your family lost it, or you got, you went your own way or whatever, and you were able to find that energy, because that energy is replicable, that mindset is replicable, that like attracts like, but that doesn't mean that situations and nuances in life do not occur. So whatever this is coming back around, and it seems to be this combination of energies that are really a powerhouse for you in this lifetime. It's bigger and it's better, and it's all of these energies put together. What your past lives are trying to teach you at this point in time is how you do have the support of those around you, and that there's something that is a little close to home. Like there's a situation where you're a little too close to be able to see it clearly that might have to do with your materiality in some way. So it might be somebody who's impacting your finances. It might be your finances in and of themselves. It might be some sort of legal document pertaining to your home. It might be your taxes. There's something like this materially that is a little too close to home for you to see it fully clearly. And so they're reminding you, okay, to ground and to ascend. Notice how on this 3 of Coins card, there's a finger pointing straight up and a finger pointing straight down. And there's a snake with its mouth open right in front of that person's eye. So what we see here is some sort of energy where this, perhaps to you, you understand this, you see it, it's something that you've known for a long time, but in its physical manifestation, in its physical embodiment, this is something that is jaw-dropping to the observer of you experiencing this energy. And part of what your past lives are trying to teach you is also how to navigate that energy in and of itself. Not only how to re-embody and experience the culmination of all of these masterful energies, but also being observed in the accumulation of these masterful energies, because that is a different journey in and of itself. Also, someone here is about to receive an unexpected gift, an unexpected physical, tangible gift that you can hold with your hands. So part of what your past lives are trying to teach you here is how there is that it's not just the middle ground between, say, spiritual growth with renunciation or material growth that is focused on the material instead of the physical, but it is actually the intersection of the two, again, that space in between. But it is also helping you to find your perfect balance of abundance in every form. Because oftentimes there might be preconceived notions, whether it's from your spirituality, from a particular belief system or society itself, that says if you have abundance in one area, then it implies lack in another. And this is simply not true, because there is an abundance of everything all the time. And in your energy, you have the mastery of both. So you might even find that you're able to energetically, consciously or unconsciously shift between one or the other. This is about the embodiment of both simultaneously. This and that can be true. So your past lives are helping you through embodiment right now. There is a lot that is grounding for you, and it is happening. It's like the material abundance occurring because of your spiritual mastery, or the spiritual mastery coming because of your material abundance. Now, if I say it one way, it seems like it makes perfect sense. But if I say it the other way, it kind of seems like it doesn't, right? But in a spiritual context, that is simply a preconceived notion or limiting belief. Okay, so we've got strength here. Your past lives are trying to teach you, okay, how strong you actually are. Okay, now I know, again, this isn't something that we necessarily want to romanticize, right? Like, oh my gosh, you're so strong. And you're like, yeah, not because I wanted to be, right? Not for all of us, right? So there's a little bit of this energy of you being grounded. There's something that's important about you having that grounded perspective, okay? Because you're not out of touch. You are not... You're not ungrounded. You're not out of touch. You have been strong. And what your past lives are trying to teach you is that it doesn't matter where it is that you start. You can always end up back where you belong. It's a little bit of this energy where if you build something from the ground up and you are so strong in it, you know what's going on, and say it's all taken away tomorrow, you can still build yourself back up to that place. Because that energy is yours. It's like if you have an abundance and you lose it overnight, you can get yourself that abundance again. Because it's a mindset. Because there are lessons that you've learned along the way. Because you understand the system. Because you understand how things work. And this occurs spiritually. This also can occur materially. Now we also have more of a common perception about which is more likely to just lose, right? Is it material or is it spiritual? But if it's possible for one, it's equally possible for the other. And it's easy to sit here and say no, but the truth of the matter is simply that material energies are a bit denser. And so they're moving a bit more slowly in frequency. That's why they're lower vibration, if you will. And the spiritual energies, the internal energies, they're moving faster. That's why they're higher vibrational, if you will. So these energies here, they represent one that is a like molasses slow resonance that is in alignment with the mastery of what is fast here. But just because one is slow and the other is fast doesn't mean that they can't be flipped inside out. Doesn't mean that there's abundance or lack in one area or the other. Rather, this is you walking through something so that in the way that it is perceived externally, it is relatable. So that I'm hearing like touch grass, so that you are grounded, something like this as well. You can be very, very, very spiritual, and there might be someone who's maybe not as spiritual who could tell you to go touch grass, right? And that doesn't negate the spirituality. You could be someone who is very, very wealthy, very, very physically abundant in this life, material resources everywhere. And someone without that might go tell you to touch grass. And that is not saying that you should. It's not saying that there's anything wrong with being abundant in any sense of the term. In fact, abundance is our birthright. Abundance is very natural. It is the natural state of the universe and all things within it. But for some reason, the perception of such, if you are, like, it's reminding me how, like, who is it? Sadhguru, I think, drives like a Bugatti or like a Bentley or a Lamborghini or something like this. Okay. That doesn't make him any less Sadhguru, and it doesn't make the Bugatti any less of a Bugatti. Okay. It's like they can coexist. There's not a moral right or wrong or ethical right or wrong to abundance in any particular way. Sometimes we might be taught that the higher moral standing, it is to maybe believe in nothing instead of be spiritual. Sometimes we're taught the higher moral standing is to be spiritual instead of not believing in anything. Sometimes we're taught the higher moral standing is knowing how to be financially healthy and be able to make a living for yourself and provide for your loved ones. And sometimes we're taught that the higher moral standing is renouncing material things and that there's more integrity for some reason in struggling to put a roof over your head. See how it's all relative when it zooms out. Now you have access to the abundance in all of these areas, but you've also experienced the shadow behind them, for lack of a better term. And so for this reason, it is almost shining this huge light onto perhaps some unhealthy misconceptions or limiting beliefs of those around you, and maybe even yourself if you've allowed them to, knock on the door of your subconscious, as you do spend a long time, because time feels slow sometimes, moving through this physical realm. So what your past lives are trying to teach you here is that you've done it before and you can do it again, not just pertaining to this lifetime, but pertaining to others as well. What your past lives are trying to teach you is that it is in your soul contract, if that is a term that you resonate with, and if it's not, you could look at Dharma, you can look at your life purpose, you can look at your North Node. It is what is meant for you. However, on your climb up, you are also dismantling something here, because it makes it in some way apparent that it's not easy, that there are struggles behind, abundance of all types. Because if you are perfectly spiritually enlightened, as one could aspire to be, hypothetically, you're going to be maybe less relatable to those around you. And that is a struggle that goes unseen, and wouldn't that just be nice, right? If you're very materially abundant, you might find that random people just dislike you for no reason because they're jealous, or because for some reason they associate that with having low or bad, weird virtues or something, and that is also incorrect and just plain mean. And that doesn't mean you don't have struggles. That in and of itself is a struggle. If you're very, very beautiful, people might think, you just get pretty, pretty privilege. But in reality, no one takes you seriously. They assume that you are not intelligent. They treat you like an object, or they're jealous of you. Everyone's in competition with you, or they're trying to bring you down. Whatever their abundance is, every light has a shadow. And that's not to say light or shadow. It is to say that all things can coexist. And therefore, the strength of your rebuilding something, the strength of your transformation, the sheer power of it, is kind of what your past lives are not just trying to teach you through embodiment that you can do because you know it, but also trying to teach through you as an example in some way. That someone's common misperception, whatever it may be, because we're all individuals, we all have something different going on, more or less, right? Is that whatever nuanced limiting belief could exist, you are multidimensional, as we all are, but you embody that multidimensionality, and you embody the abundance of the multidimensionality confidently, securely, seemingly effortlessly. But you might also show, in that paradox example, the absolute sheer strength it takes in order to become effortless at something. It reminds me of, I was a ballet dancer for a very long time. And ballet dancers, they look so graceful, they look so gentle, they look so elegant, right? Everything looks effortless. That if you knew the absolute gore that is happening on the inside of those shoes, if you saw the absolute torment that was going in that training, if you saw these dancers absolutely out-training power lifters, then you would understand that it's not actually so easy as it looks. There's a part of the struggle, there's a part of that extra effort that makes it look easier. Maybe it's because you've been doing it for a long time. Maybe it's because it's an added layer that you are choosing to apply. But your past lives are trying to show you here that you are meant for this accumulation of mastery, this accumulation of abundance across the board. And that you, in some way, are going to be living a lot of different lives within this one, because you're going to find the bridge between a lot of different energies coming through, which means a lot of different paradoxical energies coming through, a lot of this and that, a lot of yin and yang, and you finding that space in between. So a lot of different things, a lot of a million different lives just within this one. And also, you might also find that you are like a walking death and rebirth energy for those around you. And there is a struggle in and of itself in embodying that energy too. So with this rooted in gratitude here, I'm getting it can be a blessing or a curse, but you are a grateful person. It can be a blessing or a curse, but you are strong. You choose to transform. You choose to move forward, you choose to listen to your intuition, to embody. You choose to embody your authenticity. And the more that you choose to do that, the closer that you get to the pure, sheer abundance of source, of the universe, of consciousness. And that is multidimensional, just like you are. So your past lives are trying to help you almost regain your throne in a particular area of life, but they're not trying. And it's not really regaining. It's more like you stepped off and you took a walk, and when you came back, maybe someone else was sitting in it, but at the end of the day, the castle's got your name on it, the throne's got your name on it, you're the one with those blood in your veins, and everyone knows what you look like. So you get someone to kick that guy off, and you go sit down. It is something like this. Now, of course, in our human incarnations, in our lives, there's so much more nuance than that example that I gave. But what your past lives are really trying to teach you here, let's pull a few more cards for you. It's that you deserve to receive all of the abundance and to continue to grow. You can be virtuous and spiritual and still play and have fun. You can see through the illusion of the material world and still enjoy being within it. You can take your sweet, precious, delicious, present time each and every moment as you grow exponentially. Very quickly. And you can rush around while you move as slow as molasses. So, what your past lives are trying to teach you is the relativity, just in a deeper sense, of the way that you're meant to live and embody your life. You might look around and you might see, for example, maybe let's use people to look up to as our example for this one. You might see people to look up to, but it might be people to look up to in, like, let's use the 12 houses of astrology in the first house, or someone to look up to in the 8th house, or someone to look up to in the 4th house. But you likely wouldn't find an embodiment to look up to in more than one of the houses combined. It's a little bit, well, I like this ingredient and I like this ingredient, but I don't really want to make any of the cakes that you are baking. I don't like those two flavors together, but I do like these. And it's a part of the soul remembrance, because again, you've experienced it. You know what it is. It belongs to you. It is meant for you. And also you embody it effortlessly. Now, there might be a little bit of this like hiccup energy again between is it one or the other, or one or the other, and you find that bridge and you open it up. There might be some friction there. There might be some lessons in there. There might be some things in there that you work through. And that is ultimately what your past lives are trying to teach you. There's also something here about leaving behind a physical legacy and a spiritual legacy. Because group number 3, as you are well aware, it does not have to be one or the other. And not only is that, like, the embodiment of that is what your past lives are trying to teach you, but your embodiment of that, like, is also helping you build whatever legacy you are leaving behind with you, that you are creating throughout your beautiful, wonderful life. And it's also leading by example in a way. Being, per se, the adult you didn't have when you were a kid. Being, per se, the spiritual Satguru who also drives a Bugatti. I don't know if it's specifically a Bugatti. I just remember seeing an interview where he was talking about that a few years ago. And I was like, okay, go off. And it doesn't need to be so ethereal, so tangible, right? These are drastic examples that will resonate with some of you. And they're also drastic examples that can show some of you in maybe some of the smaller ways where these dualities exist. Sometimes we use emphasized examples. Sometimes spirit uses emphasized mirrors so that you can see. Because again, we had this energy coming through that something was a little bit too close to home for you to see it fully clearly. So we're zooming out. We're looking down, we're looking up, we're zooming out. And I'm getting that your head doesn't need to be on a swivel. So group number 3, that is what your past lives are trying to teach you. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. If you would like a more specific reading, I do offer one-on-ones, so you can find channeled messages, tarot readings, astrology, astrocartography, Reiki sessions, and personalized light codes even on my store on Etsy at Spiritualistik. It's all in the description box. I do have a whole spiritual store. I wrap crystals, I make candles, I've got merch. I love stuff like that. Also, if you're interested, I do have a 21-day virtual meditation retreat that I have just launched. So it's 21 days of guided meditation with me. You have access to it forever, and it will be a wonderful way for us to hold hands and walk down your spiritual journey together to give you a little support, a little bit of guidelines, and a couple extra tools for your toolbox. So with that being said, I love you. I'm grateful for you. Feel free to check out my Patreon to see exclusive pick-a-card readings, join my book club, check out my meditation retreat, or see what I have going on. Follow me on TikTok if you want collective readings. Public, I also have a exclusive content channel over there as well if you're interested in that. I also go live sometimes. We do little mini reads. Follow me on Instagram if you're not already, and of course don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on YouTube as well, as it means the world to me and helps me keep following my dreams. It also helps other people find their messages when they're ready to find them. So have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm, and I will see you next time. Namaste.